You are now tuned in to the First and 10 podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Graham, and I'm pleased to be here on behalf of OXP Media as we get into it. This is the First and 10 podcast. Make sure you follow, first of all, the First and 10 podcast, OXP Media, of course, on SoundCloud, Megaphone, Spotify, Apple Music, right? Hit it up. Follow me on Twitter at Graham_JB. Instagram is G_JB. Find me anywhere at my takes, especially as we get into this really special edition of the First and 10 podcast. I did this last week. We got into the wild card weekend. Now in the divisional round, it's exciting. These are by far the 8 best teams in the league, and you're going to see exactly how they all put it on the floor, on the field. It's going to be a great time, and I'm here to obviously give you what you need, which is these predictions for you to understand what to probably even bet on if you get into the point to bet on any one of these games as we go on. But as we saw last week, we saw the Bills dominate, have probably the most perfect. It was unequivocally a perfect game offensively. Josh Allen played incredible. Chiefs played incredible. Bengals put it out against the Raiders. The Bucks obviously dominating the Eagles. Rams beating the Cardinals. You just saw great games from start to finish. And you saw a lot of teams kind of rally and come together. And you can see that there's leadership portrayed through all of those games. And, of course, that's the great point. And every team right now have leaders. Every team right now have simply winners. And they have a balanced offense and defense, especially special teams. You can see with all these teams right here, they've had, quite a bit of just leaders in general. And I'm going to leave that to even the last game that we went through, the Dallas Cowboys versus San Francisco 49ers. That was a game, right? Cowboys fans, once again, same thing, different year. Same thing, different year. Deebo Samuel got yo. That defense, playing the picket fence, got yo. Time management, the stuff that's been worrying you all the entire year. Mike McCarthy can't figure out time. He says he can coach in this league and win in this league, but you had Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre for over a decade, and you have one Super Bowl. 2 of arguably the best quarterbacks of all time, and you have one Super Bowl. And it comes down to building your team, right? Being unbalanced on both sides of the ball, right? Similar to what you have right now with the Dallas Cowboys. You have a great offense. Defense is, can be questionable at times, but still a great core of players that should have went on and won at least the game, at least the wild card weekend game. That's unacceptable. But we digress and we go into our super wild card weekend, and I'm going to say this right now, guys. Divisional round weekend. My apologies. I'm still kind of stuck. Wild card, divisional, and of course we're going to go conference, and then the Super Bowl, which I cannot wait to get into because it's going to be great. We're going to start off with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals haven't won in 31 years. I was born in 91. Became a very big fan of Carson Palmer, T.J. Houshmandzadeh, Chad Johnson. That entire team just running, just being able to have a really lethal aerial attack. That's my story. That's as a quarterback, seeing Carson Palmer air to those guys, seeing Chad Johnson with the attitude, everything he did, just being a really entertaining guy. That's what drew me to that team, and I just became a fan. That it was a little bit different. No one was a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Coming from Toronto, no one's a Bengals fan. You have your Packers fans, you have your Patriots fans, Eagles fans. Like you have generally a group of teams that everyone latches onto. I chose to be different. I'm built different, and that's exactly why I chose to be a Cincinnati Bengals supporter. Right. So that's kind of what I've done. Of course, following players as well too, but the Bengals have always been my seat. So them drafting Joe Burrow, having the draft and drafting Jamar Chase as I said they would do, rather than Penei Sewell, everything is coming to fruition right now. You get a win against the Raiders. I didn't even mention that, of course, a little preview. I knew they were going to win that game, especially at home. And now you got the Cincinnati Bengals going to Tennessee, and a franchise that's never won an away playoff game ever in its existence. 0-7 in its existence, going to play Tennessee Titans with a Derrick Henry coming back off of foot surgery, has a metal plate in his foot. Not entirely sure how it's going to work. They said he's going to be in a pitch count, but I don't think Vrabel is going to have him on a pitch count at all. You can't have a guy in a pitch count It's actually the most dominant running back in the first 5 weeks of the season. I even said before, because I've been on fantasy, that he peaked too early. But they're running the ball a lot with him. And I had a feeling that at some point there would be some wear and tear, and that's exactly what happened. So him being out, the Titans still win big games against the Bills, which is a huge game. Win against the Chiefs, become the number 1 seed in the AFC, deservingly so. With all those guys out, they've had the most injuries in the NFL. The most injuries, and still prevail and still are at number 1. Ryan Tannehill's actually been steady. He's played decently throughout the time when Derrick Henry has gone out. AJ Brown's been up and down. He's been injured. He's been out. Julio Jones, obviously not the same. It's a different offense, not feeding the ball as much, but still they're able to maintain. They're able to put Hilliard in there backfield, get some yards, throw the Travis Akina. You throw into a number of different guys, but still getting the job done. Yes, you lost to the Houston Texans, but the Tennessee Titans are still there. And I think it all starts with Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is a very smart coach. He should be up for coach of the year for sure. He might even win it. He's just an incredible leader of men. And I think that's the reason why they've kind of catapulted to this point, because they believe. They believe. The offensive line is playing really well. Defensive line has played great this year after a year where they struggled in the secondary. Plus, on the line as well, too. They've come back. They actually have a formidable defense. But I'm going to give you the reason why I think the Bengals might come out with the win. Much better passing attack, right? Joe Burrow is able to process information very quickly and probably expose the Kevin Byards of the world on the Tennessee Titans. It's going to be lopsided. It's going to be one of those games where you have to see if the defense, and Ogunjobi's out. So on the line, Ogunjobi's out. You have Henderson coming back, most likely, may not, but you have to get pressure in Tannehill. He loves to run his play action passes. He loves to they love to run the ball. He's a former receiver, so he likes to run the ball, of course, too. And AJ Brown, Julio Jones is going to be there, but who else is going to be that third guy to step up? They have a lot of no-name guys kind of come in and play, not no-name, but guys that aren't established in this league, and they've still got it done. So I'm assuming, and I'm saying that the Bengals will pull off this victory simply because it's history. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase are used to a standard of excellence coming out of LSU, used to winning, kind of established that. Joe Burrow they won the last game. He said, hey, it's one game. Just to get you guys out of that mood, because we're going to be a winning organization going forward. And that's exactly what you want out of your franchise quarterback. So I got the Bengals in this game, plus 3.5 in Tennessee. It's going to be really tough for them to pull it off. And I know it's Joe Burrow's first time in the playoffs, but there's one thing that I know is that Joe Burrow, you can definitely put your trust in him. Zach Taylor's done a good job as well, and this is not over for them. They can be the dark horse. They can be the dark horse in this playoff altogether. I'm going to take the Bengals. Could be a very stupid pick. Could be a rout, but that's their first game on Saturday. And then, of course, we're leading off into Lambeau Field. Lambeau Field, number 1. The Green Bay Packers, number 1 in the NFL. Number 1 seed in the NFC. Aaron Rodgers should be back-to-back MVP of the league, bar none. And then, of course, you got the 49ers, who are the number 5 in the league in rushing the ball. You have Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell doing a really good job there. They get Kittle running those end arounds sometimes. They've got a great rushing attack. But Jimmy Garoppolo has never played in negative weather before. He's never played in under 30-degree weather in his career. How do you go 7+ years of playing in the NFL and still not have just negative degree weather and not play? He's had a very fortunate time in the NFL. He's been very fortunate. And this is the reason why I'm going with the Green Bay Packers to actually win. Aaron Rodgers is 0-3 versus the 49ers in the playoffs. And if he were to lose one more game, that would be the first time the most losses by one opponent against a team or against a player in their career in the NFL, which would be nuts. But again, the Packers must, throw first down play action. Aaron Rodgers he completes 76% of his passes on play action this year, and he's the most effective play action passer in the league, bar none, because he gets good protection from guys. Then you got Bakhtiari coming back. You got a few guys on that line coming back. He's getting really good protection there, especially when he's going through his progressions on the play action pass and get the ball to Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, and of course, big dog Mercedes Lewis as well too. And of course, if big Bob Tunyon were to come back, that's what me. But Aguero will be another guy that will be split out as a tight end. There'll be a lot of moving parts as you go in this game, but it's in Lambeau Field. The advantage that the Green Bay Packers have is that they win with the weather. The weather's a factor. Matt LaFleur said in the podcast this week is like, we love the weather because it's an advantage, and it's something that we want to play in. It's something we want to continue to play. That's the reason why we win all those games, to get to that point, so that we can actually have that competitive advantage, because we're actually in this weather all year long. And as a Canadian, I totally understand that. So I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to actually win this game. Green Bay, the prediction is 64% for Green Bay. So much money on that field, but I just think it's one of those games where we haven't seen Jimmy Garoppolo play well in cold weather. We haven't seen it. He just hasn't been in negative degree weather. He's already has a thumb issue. He throws within the hash marks and a lot of crossing routes. And of course, you've got a linebacker on the Green Bay Packers that's around 6'5", should be getting those passing lanes. It's going to be a tough game for our boy Jimmy Garoppolo. But I'm taking the Packers to win that game. Now shifting to Sunday. Once again, Saturday, Sunday, excellent slate of games. I'm going to, one of those weekends where I'm going to be laid up watching these games. I cannot wait. But we got the NFC kind of number 2. There's number 4. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against LA Rams. This is a really tough game. Tom Brady has not lost the divisional round game in over a decade. But the Rams are a matchup nightmare for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Matt Stafford is the best passer rating, best QB in the league against blitzes. Statistically, he's number 1 in every category against the blitz. Against cover 2 as well, he's number 1 against all cover 2 in the league. But once again, you have a lot of a really bad matchup for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially with Tristan Wirfs, the right tackle. The right tackle possibly being out for this game. That's going to be really tough to kind of overcome, because his backup last week was really struggling against the Eagles pass rush. It's going to be one of those games. It's going to be one of those interesting games. I think it will go right down to the wire. Tom Brady doesn't lose, and you really can't bet against him, because he really has not lost in the divisional matchup in over a decade. He's 17-3 in the playoffs. Think about that. 17-3 in his last 20 games in the playoffs. Incredible. It's ridiculous how successful this guy has been in this particular sport. He's simply a winner. He's locked in, dialed in, knows the game plan, extremely smart, gets the ball out quickly. He's just the GOAT. I hate saying the GOAT, because I don't think he's the best thrower of the ball, but I think he's definitely the most successful. Understands game plans, understands schemes, knows exactly where to go. But you have Mike Evans, who literally gets 70% of your passes. Cameron Brate's gonna have to play well. Gronk is getting a lot of targets. It's gonna be one of those games where he's gonna probably feed the tight end time and time again. But on the other side, you have Matt Stafford that would need to get a win here. He would need to spread the ball out, play the same game. I think they're gonna have a great game plan for this defense of the Bucs, who are a really sturdy defense, really tough defense. But Cooper Kupp, Beckham, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, they all have to get involved. And I think it's going to be one of those games where you have to throw the ball. It's going to be a good weather game. It'll be a game where both teams will be kind of, playing at a good advantage for both, because they thrive in higher temperature games. And the defense of the Bucs, I think it comes down to Devin White and then line scrimmage. You got Shaq Thompson, Vita Vea. If they can get pressure on Matt Stafford and actually get him in the pocket, then great. But to be honest, as it's been this year, Matt Stafford's been the best against the pass rush. So that's one thing to kind of look out for. I think this is a circle this game as one of the circle every single game, but circle this one especially. Both of the Sunday games, because it really can go both ways. It can be a really close game, or it can be a rout. So we'll wait and see for that. But I'm going to go with the LA Rams to go up and actually win this game. I just think it's time. I think it's time putting all that stock in OBJ, in Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, all of these guys. I think it's just time. They built their team like a basketball team. They built their team like the Lakers, like the Warriors. You have to get it done. And they rolled last week against a really good Cardinals team. So I'm going to go, and of course you can say so many things about them being good. Cliff Kingsbury, terrible because they're not good down the stretch. Sure. But it's still a stout team. And they shut them down at home. They're going to Tampa Bay, not too far. I see them doing the same thing and actually stopping this team with the Bucs having less weapons on the offensive side, so on and so forth, and being able to stop the run with Aaron Donald in the middle. You got Von Miller, Malcolm Floyd playing pretty well. You got a lot of guys playing well. If the Rams put Eric Weddle as a safety, it's going to be tough. Hopefully they can kind of reverse and kind of get guys in and out. But I see the Rams win this game. I know you should never bet against Tom Brady, but it's one of those games you never really know. It's one of those games where it could really get away from them. It's against a team that was kind of built like a super team similar to the Bucs. This is the super team game, and I see the Rams taking it. Last but not least, the game of the weekend. The number 2 Kansas City Chiefs playing against number 3 Buffalo Bills. AFC showdown. This is incredible. This should honestly have been, and this is what I anticipated at the start of the year, this would have been the conference final. The conference final in the AFC. But, you lose to the Tennessee Titans, both teams, it's going to bite you. It's going to come back and bite you. Kansas City is favored by around 4 points. 2 points altogether. I think it's kind of shifted to around 3. That line's going to change come Sunday, of course, too. So that's something to kind of look out for if you wanted to bet. But this is a money line game. You have to either go Buffalo, or you have to go Kansas City. It's in Kansas City, but the Buffalo Bills had literally the best statistically and pretty much the perfect game on offense. You got the ball out to Stephon Diggs. You got the ball out to Dawson Knox. Singletary had a great game on the ground. That offensive line is playing incredible for the Buffalo Bills. And Josh Allen, of course, he's what you say. And tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. But Josh Allen, 245, around 6'3", 6'4", can run around a 4.7, 4.5. He actually ran a 4.2 in the game when they clocked it. That's the prototypical quarterback you're looking for. A tall quarterback that's able to be mobile and have a rocket arm. That's what every team is looking for at this point, especially in cold weather games. And this should be a game that should be pretty chilly. Kansas City, they've gotten their mojo back, but last year you saw them go to the game, the exact same kind of game for the conference, the AFC Conference Championship. And of course, you see them kind of run, play with the Bills and have their way with them. This year's gonna be different. I think this year is the year of the Bills Mafia. This is the year. This has to be the year. This is it. You saw Stephon Diggs last year looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, looking at them celebrating and knowing, hey, really and truly, right, everything's going to come to fruition. That's exactly what he told his team last week. Manifested all this. They played their butts off. They beat their rival in the Patriots, smacked them. This is the year and they go off to Kansas City after beating them this year as well, too. I think it's another one of those games. And to be honest, everywhere you go, you're trying to do some research for this game. A lot of people are having trouble picking who will win this game. A lot of guys will say, hey, well, the Bills cannot check Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. But at the same time, can you check Josh Allen? No. It's going to be tough. It's going to be one of those games. I would definitely take the over. It's going to be kind of cold, so you might have to it might become one of those defensive matchup games where you get stop after stop. But I don't think that's happening because statistically, the Bills have ascended to become the 4th highest achieving offense. Kansas City is at number 3 behind Tampa Bay. And, of course, number 1 is Green Bay. They rank slightly behind Kansas City. So they're very even matchup. I believe the Bills' defense is vastly superior than the Kansas City's defense, but you're going to get up against Patrick Mahomes. So it's one of those games where you can literally say, okay, they got this, but of course there's a good counter argument to everything you can put out there. And that's the reason why I'm going with the team that no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Let's get it. Bills, money line. Bills to win this game. Bills go to AFC Championship. And hopefully Bills to go to the Super Bowl. Bills to the moon. That's the reason why. But statistically, they have the stats to back it up. Josh Allen's playing incredible. That's all he wants. He even said in the podcast, all he wants to do is be the best quarterback he can be for the team. They're a unit. They've been together pretty much. They brought back the entire team from last year to do it again. I think this is the time they have to put it together. Josh Allen's a much more mature, so on. Of course, The Kansas City Chiefs are in their prime as well too, but it's one of those games. Defense is just better. Defense is simply better than Kansas City's defense. It's the one thing that cancels out, and I'm going to roll with the Buffalo Bills. You let me know. All these picks, do you agree? Do you disagree? Send me a tweet. Send me a notification. Send comments. Always just let me know on either Twitter, Graham_JB, Instagram, G_JB, OXP Media on Instagram. Let us know. Let us know. Let me know. Because I know I have these picks down to a science. I'm going to do a parlay. Probably going to hit on that again, just like I did last weekend. Let's get it. I'm him. This is a great weekend of football. And around this time, I know we all get very, very sad that less games are happening. But this has been a great year of football. And I'm actually satisfied with the amount of football I've seen, amount of quality football we've seen from a number of teams, especially in this really unfortunate situation with COVID, in this scenario of unpacking. But we've got some great games, some great results, great performances, and I cannot wait to see exactly what's next. I'm Brandon Graham for OXP Media. This is the First and 10 podcast. I want to let you guys know to make sure you follow us and listen, subscribe, like Spotify, Apple Music, Megaphone, anywhere where you find your podcasting needs. I'm there. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let's get it and enjoy the weekend. Keep balling.